about that today.
I know you were going to be excited about it. We got the Browns general manager, John Dorsey. He made the biggest pick of the draft. We got Nick Mangold, who's one of my favorite players ever, going to be here in our studio. Ryan Clark is going to join us.
Oh, what up?
Well, we start with that guy. Game 7 win or go home for LeBron and the Cavs against the Pacers, and he had a message for his family early. He wasn't planning to come out, and in the first half, Jalen, he didn't. He made his first 7 shots.
LeBron James was magnificent in this Game 7. I'll talk about how the Pacers allowed him to get too comfortable later, but again, this level of dominance, Greeny, you see him doing it at the hoop. You see him doing it mid-range. He made a couple of three-point shots. His dominance was awesome to witness.
And they had an 11-point lead at halftime behind 26 in the first half from that man. Then, Pacers not going away. Opened the third quarter with a totally different kind of energy. Victor Oladipo took the game over. They outscored Cleveland 31-24 in the third, and then it got to be scary time. That was a huge play there as LeBron had his pocket picked from behind. And here's where it got scary.
It got weird.
LeBron walking into the locker room. Doris Burke would say that he was cramping up, which we've seen from him in the past. He's hydrating like crazy. And then the biggest point of this game. The Cavaliers were a +6 with LeBron on the bench to start the fourth.
Relying on others, starting with George Hill, who did a good job of running pick-and-roll action, which led to Kevin Love getting a couple of open jump shots, who played well, and Kyle Korver as well. They needed that productivity. And also Tristan Thompson.
Well, we got to talk about that.
He had a great game. And then Korver made that great pass to LeBron that helped seal it in the end. It was Cleveland hanging on for dear life, but they get the win. LeBron, 45 points, 9 boards, 7 assists. His Cavaliers are moving forward.
It's hard to put into words, but, you know, that's why he's the best player on the planet. He put us on his back. He did it all for us this series.
I thought I had a good motor, but his motor is unreal. He's got a Lamborghini motor, so it's amazing to see what he's able to do, and especially in year 15. Geez, if I could find out the remedy for that, I'll definitely take it.
How does what you saw from Indiana, especially their bigs, translate to what you're going to see next round?
I don't know. I'm burnt right now. I'm not thinking about Toronto right now until tomorrow. I'm ready to go home. I'm tired. I want to go home.
All right, so, I mean, in a way, that's kind of funny, but in a way, maybe it is also a bigger picture glance. The question is this sustainable to be this dependent on one player?
I mean, he went into that game yesterday telling someone, I'm going to play all 48 minutes if that's what it takes. Of course, he ended up taking off the 4.5, which he hadn't planned on doing. To me, that is not a sustainable method. Now, you said he was relying on others. Those others had not been able to be relied upon in the 6 games previous to yesterday. So yesterday was I would say, a pleasant surprise to a lot of people, Cavs fans included. We didn't know what we were going to expect. Nobody saw Tristan Thompson coming. That was a shock.
And LeBron taught me not to project because he said he's going to play the whole game, didn't do that. And so...
How dare he?
Absolutely. So here's the thing about the Cavs. When things got tight, they went to the guys they could rely on. The guys that they won championships with. Tristan Thompson got into the starting lineup. J.R. Smith played quality minutes. Kyle Korver was a contributor. This is the first time since 2007 that LeBron James hasn't had a teammate score 20 points.
That's crazy.
During a playoff series. So this was all about LeBron James until Game 7. Tristan Thompson brought energy early. He was offensive rebounding. He played really good pick-and-roll defense. And all of a sudden, like you mentioned, when LeBron James goes out, who do we look towards? George Hill.
George Hill played great.
Right.
I thought George Hill was the most important of. I mean, Thompson obviously had a very good game.
Right.
And Kevin Love hit a couple of shots. I thought George Hill, when they went to him in the third quarter, I tweeted, they're in total desperation mode. They're just grasping at straws, which I think that they were, and they came up aces with him, obviously. I thought Hill was magnificent.
He had a workmanlike game. He had 11 points, but 9 of them are free throws. What does that mean? He continues to attack, draw fouls, and play smart.
But I actually think I agree with Beetle in the bigger picture here, which is that we are all celebrating these 4 minutes that LeBron was able to sit down and they didn't just give the game away, as though this is some kind of miracle. You can't win a championship like that. I don't know if they can beat Toronto or not like that. I definitely don't think they could beat Philly if they get to that point. And if they somehow get out of the East, it'll be LeBron's greatest accomplishment ever, and they would have no chance in the final.
We're also celebrating as though LeBron had, 16 points. He had 45 points, and they only won by 4.
Oh, yeah.
So to pretend like, Well, no, but the other guys really picked him up. They were there. They did their jobs, but it's still all LeBron.
In the end, they were dominated in the series. They were dramatically outscored in a 7-game series, but they managed to win and move on. So let's make LeBron the big number here. He scores 45 in a game 7 for the second time in his career. He's the only player in NBA history to do that twice. And it's the 20th time in his career that he led his team outright in points, rebounds, and assists in a playoff series. No other player has done that more than 6 times. He's done it 20. By the way, they are a plus 180 to beat Toronto, according to the Westgate Las Vegas Superbook. It's the first time that a LeBron team has been an underdog against an East opponent since the 2008 conference second round against the Celtics.
Wow.
All right, let's run through everything else. Time to get up and go, and it's sponsored by Coppertone.
Okay.
And first, more greatness from LeBron yesterday. With that steal in the second quarter, he passes Scottie Pippen, Jalen. He now has more steals in the postseason than any player in history.
I had a chance to play against both of these gentlemen, and I tell you what, Scottie Pippen was a prototypical point forward. He could lock down multiple positions on the wing. And obviously, Michael Jordan gets all of the credit for the 6 championships, but he never won one without Scottie Pippen.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Great defense.
Yep.
So you can say that LeBron gave every fan everything he could possibly want yesterday except for this one. So watch over here as when Tristan Thompson's racing into the stands. LeBron James over there, and watch this guy. He thinks he's getting a high five too. But look at the save. Look at the save. That's a great save by that guy. He made it look like it's a good moment.
That was well done.
That is a life lesson. He didn't get what he was looking for, but he wound up making it look okay. Out west, James Harden was brilliant yesterday, scored 41 points. The Rockets open up a huge lead and then hang on against Utah yesterday. Jalen, give me a quick recap on this, and we'll have more on it as we go.
The Houston Rockets is a terrific basketball team. Led the league in isolation points. James Harden is the most unique offensive weapon in the game. And what do I mean by that? How many guys have led this league in total points and total assists? He's done that. He leads the league in free throws. He also is a kind of guy that all of a sudden now it doesn't matter which player you put on him, he can break them down in an isolation situation, and he can get a high percent three-point shot while it's contested.
It's a tough situation for Utah either way. And then tonight, Beetle, we got game 1 in the East between the Sixers and the Celtics, the most battled playoff combination ever, and Jaylen Brown doubtful with that hamstring.
Yeah, that is a big loss for a team that has already been completely annihilated by injuries this season. What I'm most looking forward to is both of these fan bases are rabid. So both of the home, anytime one's at home, it's going to be an interesting advantage.
And your ability to advance is going to have some luck attached to it. Houston was going to beat the Utah Jazz, but it helps that Ricky Rubio isn't playing. I think the next series, the Philadelphia 76ers, we're going to beat the Celtics, but it helps that Jaylen Brown.
Look at this.
No.
Game 2, Jets and Predators in Nashville last night. That's the Titans' offensive line, particularly Taylor Lewan, drinking beer off of the fish. It's candidly just hideous. Well, because that's what people do when they're excited.
You know what? To be honest, I love this video so much. And I think it's somewhat overrated. Here's why.
Overrated?
I love fish and I love beer. Like, where's the outrage?
I know. And
What are you talking
Some things are much better apart than together. As for the actual game, it was great, too. Kevin Fiala scored 5:37 into double overtime. Predators beat the Jets 5-4. They win that game 2, and they even up the Western Conference semifinal series at 1 game apiece. Sunday night baseball. Yankees wrap up a sweep of the Angels, winning their 9th straight game. The Yankees have 2-1. Gary Sanchez, that's a 447-foot home run. CC Sabathia threw 7 innings of 1-run ball. 9 straight wins. The Yankees still trail the Red Sox by 2 games in the American League East, but a good series starts tonight. The Yankees and the Astros. Yankees have the best offense in the American League, and the Astros have the best ERA in the American League, so something has got to give. This was a strange one to me. The Dodgers' Cody Bellinger, who's a terrific player, was pulled in the 5th inning by his manager yesterday because Dave Roberts called this a lack of hustle. You will see him sort of cruising slowly into second. Now, if you watch this one again, you'll see that he sort of went to a knee off the swing. They're down 4 runs, so he didn't want to make the third or an out at third base. He basically said, I get it, I'm the young guy, but Dave Roberts benched him for a lack of hustle.
That's a weird one. We've seen it a few times now. I don't know what he saw that we didn't.
Just trying to get his team fired up, I guess, and he picked on the young guy to do it. Speaking of young guys, Nick Kingham yesterday had one of the great debuts of all time. In his major league debut, he had a perfect game going through 6 2/3. He winds up joining Johnny Cueto as the only pitchers in the last 100 years with 1 hit allowed, no walks, and at least 9 Ks in their major league debut. And look at the celebration.
No.
Jalen, they poured mustard all over him.
That's
Why?
awesome.
Why
And it has to be the uniforms. Those throwback Pittsburgh uniforms
Clemente,
are so
classic.
classic. And we are family. That's
But wait,
what that reminds
let's
me
not.
of.
I don't want to ignore the mustard. Why mustard?
I don't know. They
That's-
treated him like he was a corned beef sandwich. I have no understanding of why that would be deemed a celebration.
You're talking about sandwiches, says the gentleman who eats it with a fork and a knife?
Yes.
I have footage of this.
I
really
enjoy a
embarrassing.
corned beef sandwich with mustard, and I eat it with a fork and a knife. That has nothing to do with the fact that they poured it all over a pitcher yesterday.
Yeah, of all the things.
Okay.
Baseball players have more fun.
Beetle, you told me that
Then
you spent Friday night, stand by.
Oh.
You told me you spent Friday night sitting here,
Yep.
anchoring our NBA coverage brilliantly as you always do, and waiting to hear what?
Whether or not Shaquem Griffin found a home.
Well, he
That
finally
was it.
did on Saturday. UCF Shaquem Griffin, who we had in studio last week, got a special call this weekend that will change his life forever.
Hello?
Shaquem,
Yes, sir.
hey, it's John Schneider calling, buddy. How you doing?
I can't even breathe right now.
Yeah, it's a dream come true for us too, buddy. We're happy to have you, man. You get to play with your brother again, okay? We're gonna pick you right here, okay? 141.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much.
So there it was,
Love that.
the moment that would change his life. And if you're wondering how many people he has inspired, here's one. This is 12-year-old Juliana with a special message for Shaquem.
Hi Shaquem, it's Juliana. I love watching you play football in college, and I can't wait to cheer you on in the NFL. Good luck!
And then she did the aerial there, which you saw prior to it, which is just a remarkable moment. And we tried to make the point when he was here. He's a great player and a great story, and both of those were on display.
Corce is here to inspire. That's why, as a former player, I always make it conscious to talk about the game of life and the score of the game. Everybody wants to be a Hall of Famer, an all-time great, and a champion. But when you're able to touch so many people that you don't realize that you're able to touch by your ability to play football or play basketball or be talented at something, it's remarkable.
And he gets to play with his brother. I mean, it's storybook.
Yeah, for those who did not know, Shaquille Griffin, who's his twin brother, has been with the Seahawks for a year. Up next, 2 big additions in Game 7 pay off huge for the Cavaliers. Were these genius moves by Ty Lue, or should he have done them earlier? We'll see if you go glass half full or glass half empty on that. And it brings us to LeBron, and here's our question for the moment. Jalen, LeBron in the second round now, the conference semis for the 13th straight year. Can you name the league MVP the last time LeBron didn't make the second round of the playoffs? No Googling.
Never that.
The answer is next.
That's a good one, Himbo.
Liberty Mutual.